Holly. I'm from an organisation over the road called Our Life. We specialise in community engagement, and I'm really interested in your community empowerment work. And my question would be, how do you keep people motivated to continue that work after a 9, 10, 12 week period? We do a lot of work in communities that are quite deprived, and we work really closely with them for 10 weeks, let's say, but keeping that motivation up afterwards we find quite difficult. How do you go about that?
Yeah, I think it's quite tricky for us because, of course, we go into somewhere. This is one of the problems that we have, is that we go in and we deliver an event that's 10 days and everybody's inspired and everyone's really excited. And the same thing, then everyone goes away and then everything's kind of almost back to normal. So one of the things that we're trying to do is to do kind of more long-term projects, and we work with partners that deliver longer-term projects in these places. So this is the symbol of Tuna El Fuerte, the organisation in Caracas that we work with, who are amazing. They've converted 30 shipping containers into creative spaces, so music studios, theatre studios, right in the most dangerous ghetto in the whole of Caracas. And they engage 500 young people every day. So when we're working in kind of situations around where we're wanting to kind of transform things socially, we work with organisations like that can then continue the work after we leave. One of the things that we're most keen to do is to have to we can never think long term because of our funding situation. We are trying to think more and more long term about what we do. And again, it's that idea about empowerment. So for us, it's about giving people the tools, and then the people have to make the stuff happen. But of course, it's not always as straightforward as that. But say, for example, in Uganda, so we were in Uganda 3 weeks ago, and it was our second event there, so our second music event. And this year, after year one, we started to bring people together to set up a cooperative so that people could access resources and do more things for themselves. This year, the cooperative was set up, people were signing up to it. So it's kind of step by step, bits of progress and help for people. But yeah, it's a real challenge. And I think, some of the stuff that we do in the UK, again, when funding runs out, or when people go away from the situation, it is quite tricky to keep people motivated, for sure.
Can I just say something on that, actually? Something I was wondering with what you were saying. In Launchworks, what we've done is we've talked to people who've made change through something, like through comedy, youth through music, and people have done it through theatre or whatever. And Andy Walsh from FC United is looking about changing things through football, through sport. So, traditional politics kind of does change through politics, doesn't it? So I wonder what you're thinking, and with the question from the lady over here, is it kind of more sustainable, and is it more inspiring to do it through an art form or a sport or something, to affect change through something like that, rather than doing politics through politics, if you see what I mean?
Definitely, I think so. I mean, I think, so we In Place of War, which is the other thing that I do. So I work at the University of Manchester and run a project called In Place of War that looks at creativity in sites of armed conflict. So In Place of War is all about the stories of the artists. It's about, you see the stuff on the news with like statistics and like, this has happened and this has happened, and quite often it's not actually what's happening and so on. But you don't hear the kind of emotional story, and that's much more powerful, to hear the emotional stories of the artist through song or through street art. Street art is so powerful as a medium, and what it's great at doing is connecting people who maybe can't read and write, to spread messages, to share, to show people that they're not alone in what they think. And so a few weeks ago I was in Cairo, and I was with The Guardian, with In Place of War, talking to artists of the revolution. So everything from street artists, musicians, filmmakers, all sorts of different people. And the way in which art and social media came together in that situation enabled the revolution to happen. Without those two things, it wouldn't have happened. So quite a lot of the poorer population can't read and write. So art was used, comics were used in a really big way to spread messages, to share opinion about the situation. But more importantly, I think social media enables people who were really scared and thought that they were on their own and didn't really want to go out on the streets because they thought, well, maybe it will just be 100 people. Social media all of a sudden enabled all those people in Cairo who are in their homes to understand that, oh God, there's a load more people out here that think the same way as me. And so what happens as a kind of an act through Facebook or Twitter manifested itself in a physical act of those people then taking to the streets and bringing down a regime. So you've got this kind of fusion of art and social media working together, and I just think those things are just so important. You know, you have people like Rami Assam, who's like the voice of the revolution, singing in Tahrir Square, singing "Leave" as you know, as the regime is brought down. So I think these things have incredible power to motivate people and to help people understand politics is complicated and boring. You know, it's kind of like, you know, but music and art has a way of kind of connecting basic ideas to people to help get them inspired and interested in, you know, in politics.
My name's Darren Knight, I work for the Lesbian and Gay Foundation.
Hi.
I'd be interested in kind of seeing how you think things translate from beyond the music industry, because you've used that as quite a common example, but we're really keen to engage more lesbian, gay and bisexual people through what we're trying to do in campaigning and lobbying for change. And sort of, I suppose, what are the key points that you'd suggest as us focusing on to do that?
So to engage more people in what you're
To
doing.
actually engaging to take action is the key thing. You know, we can get numbers on Twitter, et al, and all that kind of thing. That's not necessarily the challenge. It's actually getting to do something once they're actually there.
I think it's about, again, Brazil's a great example of this. Some of the kind of LGBT stuff that happens there is, you know, it's taking it to the streets. It's kind of doing really incredible, quite sort of revolutionary and radical events, but getting people, you know, mobilising people and getting them to, you know, I've seen lots of kind of like carnivals and kind of almost underground carnivals that happen, and I think it's about getting people in one place and kind of maybe having fun, and then at the same time as kind of raising issues and trying to bring about change. And I think again it's about connecting all those dots internationally, because where what you are is, you know, where grassroots music niche, you know, LGBT maybe niche in a locality, you have so much more power when you join the dots internationally. So I don't know whether there's international movements that you can attach to or you can start, but certainly through Facebook, I mean, there's just so much power in sort of starting something locally, getting a critical mass of people involved in it locally, creating something online, and then, you know, moving that on to the next place and sharing those ideas. You know, you'll know someone in London or in Nottingham or wherever that's kind of wanting to do a similar thing. So it's just about bringing all of those localized networks together online, and then kind of, you know, there's just such a power in that critical mass, and then that really motivates people to make the changes, because it's kind of, people don't feel isolated anymore and that they're doing something on their own. It's like, look, we're all in this together. Do you know what I mean?